Bethany Hamilton and Lacey Sturm from Flyleaf. I just got goosebumps. Well, this is Bethany Hamilton. You guys may know her from the movie Soul Surfer. And we have Lacey Sturm from the band Flyleaf. Okay, well let's get this thing going.
Hello? I wasn't sure if my mic worked.
Okay, cool. Well, just give me a little background on you. Where were you guys? Where were you born?
I was born in Kauai, Hawaii, and that's where I grew up. Learned how to surf, and just kind of lived my life there ever since, and it's been amazing.
So you travel the world surfing for a living, get paid, so that's amazing. I surf too, and I'm just a summer surfer. I told you I hate cold water, but I skateboard every day. But tell us about some of your cool trips, like what's been a cool thing that God's done on some of your trips, some of your highlights.
Yeah, I guess my life's been pretty incredible. Like after losing my arm to the shark at age 13, I continued surfing and just continued to devote my life to Jesus Christ. And I've just been able to travel and compete as a professional surfer around the world and see so many amazing places and go on surf trips to remote places all over the place, and it's just been incredible just seeing all the different cultures in this world. And I don't know, I'm very thankful for my life, and it's just cool how God can take things in our lives and turn them around for good. And we all go through something rough, and it's not always easy, and He doesn't say it's gonna be easy. It's like life's about challenges, and it kind of will just bring us to a place where we just have to give it up to Him.
Awesome. If there's people outside and they want to come in, we're down to put people on the floor and all around the walls. So if you guys are outside, go and come in right now. Let's pack this place. Lacey, I met Lacey about 3 years ago when I first got saved, and we became really good friends, and they've had a lot of influence in my life, you and your husband, when I got to go stay out there in Texas with you guys. But so you've sold millions of records, you've traveled the world for a living. Oh wait, before we even get into that, where were you born?
Oh, well, I was born in Homestead, Florida, but I didn't really ever live there. I moved to Texas pretty soon after that, and lived back and forth between there and Mississippi, and now I live in Pittsburgh with my husband and his extended family. So. And
you have a kid, Jack.
Yes.
Just had a baby. Congratulations.
Thank you. He's awesome.
So, tell us. So you got crazy stories too, because you actually meet up with a lot of broken people that are touched. I talked to a girl that wanted to commit suicide, and she heard that it was when that Flyleaf song came out, Fully Live, and she was playing it, and she ended up searching God and giving her life to God, and now she was the president of the Christian club. She fully turned her whole life around from a song.
Wow.
So, I mean, you've heard many stories. Tell us about some of those crazy stories of people that have met you.
Well, Fully Alive, we've heard that story a lot, about that song in particular. I remember being in Germany, and I didn't even think they even knew who Flyleaf was in Germany. We were touring with Stone Sour, and that night, Corey Taylor lost his voice. It was his first time ever losing his voice, in all Slipknot, all of Stone Sour, everything. And he was really upset about it. And the fans were so awesome. They stood outside the gates and sang all the Stone Sour songs at the top of their lungs by the buses. And we all went out and signed for them and just talked to them for a little while. And I got a letter from someone who had passed it. Nobody even knew who it was that that gave the letter, because it passed through so many people to get to us. And it had my name on it, and he said, you know, I never knew who Flyleaf was. I heard your song on the radio, which I don't even know how they were playing it there, because we didn't have any distribution or anything over there. It was one of the first times we ever were in Berlin or Germany. And then he said, I heard your song on the radio, and it's something about it caught my attention. And I thought, who is this? I'm going to go look them. If he was going to let that happen, and at 10 years old became an atheist and became depressed and got into, you know, drugs and promiscuity. And I was dating a girl at the time whenever I became Christian. And the thing was that when I ended up having the most crazy, just circumstance after circumstance that led me to just realizing I don't want to wake up anymore. And I had those feelings before, and I'd contemplated suicide a lot, but the final thing, I don't even know what hit it, what triggered it, but it was a whole bunch of things at once. And I had a habit of meditating on all the bad things in my life, just feeling sorry for myself a lot, and wrote down a lot of bad things and just read them over and over, and wrote really sad music and poems and stuff like that. And I think by that time, when I was 16, no matter how many drugs I did, no matter how many relationships I had, friendships, you know, whatever it was, it never helped heal anything in my heart, nothing. So it just felt like it would heal for a minute, and it would be good for a little while, and then something else would happen, and it would be like, it just never lasted. So I remember deciding to commit suicide one, you know, night. I just said, I'm going to do it tomorrow, and the next day I went about my plan, and ended up coming home from school, and my grandma saw me, and she said, she still wasn't supposed to be home, and she's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, just leave me alone, let me smoke. I'm just going to go smoke a cigarette, because I was mad she was there, and she let me smoke in the backyard. And she was like, no, you're not smoking anymore. And I was so upset. I was like, everything in my life is falling apart. And I was just screaming at her about how terrible everything was. And
she said something, you told me that your grandma came home and she looked at you and there was something different. You cut your hair off.
Yeah.
You cut your hair off and you just look crazy.
Yeah.
Because you were going to commit suicide. That was the goal.
Yeah, I cut my ponytail off, and she said, what did you do to your hair? What's wrong with you? Something's wrong with you. You're going to church. That's what she said. And I was like, I hate church. I hated Christians because I just thought they were all naive and never went through anything and didn't know anything about what I went through in my life. And they just believed a fairy tale, and they're all, you know, just naive, you know. And so I was like, last place I wanted to go. But my grandma kept screaming at me, and I didn't want to listen to her scream for the last day on earth that I had. And so I just said, okay, I'll go to church if you shut up. So I ended up in church, and the pastor pretty much spoke directly to me. And it was really crazy how specific it was. And he started crying and said, there's a suicidal spirit in the room. And all the hairs went up on the back of my neck. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, weird, freaked out. I want to get out of here. And he said, please come up and let's pray for you. And I didn't go because my pride wouldn't let me go. I was like, no way, I'm going up with these Christians and they're going to